What's up, YouTube? It's Manuel here with Financial Fitness, or here I talk about my journey to financial independence and financial abundance. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Army. The Army is my day job. I'm going to be talking about 10 things you should do before you go see your Army recruiter. So the first thing you're going to do before you go see your recruiter is you're going to talk to your parents, a guardian, or your spouse, right? So those of you guys who are 18 and under or closer to 18, you're more likely going to be talking to your parents or guardians. And those of you guys who are probably a little bit older, probably later in your 20s, those early 30s, you're going to be talking to your spouse. And this is most important, right? Hence why I put it number one, because you need them to be on the same page as you, right? For your parents, you're going to want those letters while you're in basic training if you commit all the way through and you make it. If you're your spouse, remember, they may be married to you now, but now they're going to also be married to the Army. And so you want them to be on the same page, right? You want them to have understanding. We want everybody to be there and supporting us, right? We don't want to burn any bridges before we're heading to probably do one of the most difficult things you ever done in your life, which is joining the service and then headed to basic training, right? So before you go see a recruiter, make sure your parents, make sure those guardians, make sure those spouses are on the same page, or at least have an understanding that this is what you're gonna do. And you can start giving them the details later about how it'd be better for you guys. But for now, they need to know that this is what you're doing. And then the second thing you're gonna do is we're going to go find someone that we know who is already in the service, right? And I'm hitting my hands to point of emphasis because you want to know someone, preferably they've been in 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer. That way, whenever your recruiter tells you something, right, you don't have to just take their word as gospel, right? You can take some of that information your recruiter tells you, you can then go and follow that up with the person that you know who is in the service, right? Hopefully they have some knowledge. If not, they have an NCO who's over them who will be able to tell you some of that information. And it should be, you know, every time, right? The biggest thing you should do is always trust but verify. And this is just your verifying process, right? You trust your recruiter, but you're just going to verify some of the things that you may be unsure about with that person that you know who's already in the service. Third, this is just as important. 1, 2, and 3 are super important. And so the third one is we're gonna go get a notebook, right? And with our notebook, we're gonna start writing down some of our concerns. We're gonna start writing down some of those questions. And once you go see your recruiter, you're gonna start writing down the things that your recruiter tells you, right? Because we want to be knowledgeable about what we're about to do, right? You're about to probably make the largest decision you ever made in your entire life, right? Joining the service, it's a really big deal. So we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence, that we're writing stuff down, that we're remembering what the recruiter talked about, right? The worst thing you want to do is go to your recruiter, talk to your recruiter for 2 hours that day, go home to your wife, and if she says, hey, what did they tell you about? And you don't even know, or you can't remember. So we want to make sure we have that notebook. And then the fourth thing, and probably my favorite thing because I love this, is go to goarmy.com, right? The website is super nice, super designed. They put a lot of money, they being the Army, put a lot of money into upgrading this website. And so you could see some of the jobs that are available there. You could see the bonuses that they have. They won't tell you the bonuses with the job, right? They won't put the two together, but they'll say, hey, you have a bonus for this amount if you go for this year's, right? Your recruiter is the only one who can tell you what jobs have what bonus at what time. But you can still go look at the list of careers that are there. You can go see what your jobs available are, what the Army has to offer, right? It tells you things about the GI Bill. Just, you know, dabble around a little bit on there. Don't fall in love with any jobs you find because you haven't taken an ASVAB yet. And so the ASVAB is the pre-test that you have to take before you can select your job. And you can't really decide that until you take your ASVAB. But now you still want to get yourself in a headspace of this is what's available, this is what I can do, this is what the Army has to offer. And then the fifth thing we want to do, right, is you want to Google all of the military recruiters around you, not just Army. You want all of the military recruiters that you have within a 15-minute radius of your house. If you're in a smaller town or kind of in the middle of nowhere, maybe branch that out into whatever's a drivable distance for you to where you can go see them, make it a day trip or something. But the point we want to get to here is that we want to be able to go see another branch, right? You want to do your due diligence when you're doing this. Those of us who went to college or applied for college, right? You didn't only apply for one college, at least I hope you didn't. So we want to do the same thing with the military, right? We don't want to go see one recruiter, do this entire process talking to one guy or a girl and just take everything that they have, right? We want to go see the Air Force. We want to go see the Marines, right? I want you to join the Army, but I want you to do your own research because, you know, it's different for everyone and everyone has their own wants and needs. And the different branches offer little minutia things that are a little bit different than the other ones. So I want you to be able to go and see that, right? Go and make sure that you did everything you could have done before you made that decision to join. And the sixth thing is you gotta be honest with yourself, right? We're gonna start there, know yourself. So when we're talking to our recruiter, right, and we're joining the service, we're thinking about joining the service, you have to understand that this is a job for them. They have to bring in a quality person to come and up the numbers for the Army, right? We want to raise the average with every person we bring in. And so the point I'm trying to get to here is if you're 18, you know, you got a 65 on your ASVAB, no drug usage, no arrests and stuff like that, you look really good to a recruiter versus if, you know, you're 33, have a DUI and back child support, you know, like you don't look as, you know, good looking to the recruiter. But both of you guys can join. You know, there's nothing saying that the 33-year-old with back taxes and the DUI can't join. But the process is a little bit lengthier. So as long as you know yourself, know that you may have a little bit of baggage and you understand that, it will make your recruiter's life a lot easier because, you know, they want you to join, they want to get you in, but they may put their time in different places based on how your ability to join. So be honest with yourself and make sure that you know what you have. You don't have to disclose all that in the beginning to your recruiter. Don't feel obligated to do that. But as things come up and as paperwork needs to be filled out, some of that stuff may be questions that they ask. So understand who you are and understand what you're bringing to the table. And as a former president once said, don't ask yourself what the Army can do for you. Ask yourself, what can you do for the Army? And then so number 7, start to get your affairs in order. And you want to do this even before you go see the recruiter. I didn't do a great job of this before I joined, but this is just, you know, making sure, you know, who's getting access to your account while you're gone, right? If you're a kid, do not give your parents access to your account. But if you're a spouse, yes, give spouse access to your account, especially if you guys are on good terms. Why I say this, why we're talking about this is your affairs in order, is because you need to make sure that while you're gone, the world doesn't burn down back home, right? Because you're probably, in a lot of cases when you join the military, maybe the sole provider for your family, and you don't want to completely cut them off from access to your income. You want to make sure that your lights stay on, that your kids can still eat, that they still have a car. Now, because you may not get access to your phone while you're in basic training, right? You might only be able to write letters. So you want to make sure that your affairs in order. I would suggest cutting the Netflix account and the Disney Pluses and stuff for that 2 months because you're not going to have access to your phone anyway and you're not going to be using it, and who knows, you may realize you don't need that stuff. Just make sure, you know, they're not going to repossess your car and you're not going to have your family homeless and you're not going to destroy your credit score. Make sure all that stuff's going to be auto paid and make sure that whoever needs access to your account has access to your account. And then so number 8 is to write down all of your reasons that you have been thinking about joining, right? All of the positives that you have heard, that you know of, that, you know, maybe you saw online, and keep note of that, right? Because at the end of the day, gonna have to make a decision, right? We're talking about before you've seen your recruiter, right? There's the during your recruiter, and there's the are you gonna sign this contract or not? So make sure you write down those reasons that you're thinking about joining, all of those positives. And then number 9, we're gonna go on YouTube, and you're gonna go to the GoArmy.com YouTube channel, right? I don't think you put the .com when you search on YouTube, but you know, just I'm a little indoctrinated, I always say the .com. But on their YouTube channel, they have those jobs that you may have seen on the GoArmy.com. They also have thousands of videos just on Army life, what on-post housing looks like, what like breakdowns of the different jobs, the MOSs. They have like little quick 2-3 minute videos on all of that stuff on what Army life could be like for you. So the videos are really nice, they're really good design. So I would definitely highly suggest going to look at those before you get to your recruit. And also raise your motivation level, right? If you're kind of on the fence about it, the Go Army YouTube channel will definitely make you feel really good and raise that motivation level to go see that recruiter. And then number 10 is, if you're not in shape now, start working to get in shape. That's, you know, maybe adding a little bit of jogging to your routine, or start hitting the gym a little bit, start doing some push-ups, go for a run. Because while you're in basic training, you're gonna walk, run, march everywhere you go. As well as you're gonna do smoke sessions, and not all smoke sessions are the same, and They're not like how they used to be. But occasionally, you know, you're gonna do some push-ups here and there. You're gonna do some sit-ups. You know, you're gonna do some air squats. So start getting in shape now, right? So make some of that stuff easier because you're gonna do it. As well as the better you do in basic, it can kind of set you up in AIT, and then doing well in AIT can really start your Army career off really good. Those really early ranks are kind of pivotal because you can skip a couple of them. But point is, the better shape you come in, the better you can do early. They're gonna get you in shape. They're gonna whip you in shape. So yeah, so that was 10 things you should do before you go see your recruiter. We're gonna add a bonus one in there, and the 11th thing you should do is to like this video, and the 12th is subscribe, and the 13th is leave a comment down at the bottom. I heard doing those 3 things will make the recruiter like you a little bit better, and he may give you a better job than you qualify for. But with that being said, I'm Emmanuel. It's my video. I'll see you next time.